You look at the guidelines from the platforms, that age 13 is when kids are technically allowed to use social media. I personally, based on the data I've seen, believe that 13 is too early. And I think that it's a time, early adolescence, where kids are developing their identity, their sense of self, and the skewed and often distorted environment of social media often does a disservice to many of those children.
The Surgeon General warning all of us parents about the dangers of social media, saying 13-year-olds are too young to be on platforms. So let's bring in our panel of moms. We have Nicole, Neily, mother of two, and Parents Defending Education founder and president, Amanda Ray, Arizona mother of two, and Carolina Del Calvo, Texas mother of two. Good morning to all three of you.
Good morning.
Good morning. So, Amanda, I'll start with you because you were telling our producers you're not letting your children go on social media at all. They're right at the cusp. I know you have an older child that's 12 years old. You have a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old. So how do you prevent this, and what do you do when your children get a little older, 13 or 14?
You know, it's non-negotiable in our house. I look at social media. It's a drug. It's a digital drug, and it's intoxicating for our children. And as parents, I grew up, and most of us grew up in the age of no social media. We had our awkward years played out without the constant pressure from social media. And our children are vulnerable, and they should be protected and shielded from the constant comparison and selfie culture. So in our house, I think it'll be based on the maturity of my child, but I'm thinking probably not until they're at least 17.
Nicole, your children, you have two, one's 7 and one is 9. How do you, when all of their friends are going on it, you don't want to be the parent that says you can't ever do this, because some of my mom friends that are doing that, their children are sneaking behind their backs, they find out, it's a big uproar. So what's the balance here? When do we allow it?
Sure, absolutely. Parents are under a tremendous amount of pressure to be the person. You don't want to make your kid an outcast, but at the same time, we worry very much about the kinds of things that our children are exposed to. And, you won't want to be the coddling helicopter parent, but at the same time, protecting them from the content that's out there, the algorithm on TikTok, feeding them information about eating disorders, about transgender things. And so I think, parents want to protect their children, and that's our right and our role as parents.
Carolina, you have an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old. I'm sure your children are grabbing your phone. They like to go on there. What are the rules in your house?
So they're 8 and 10. So social media is not really what we do in the house yet. I think it's my responsibility as a parent to coach them and guide them through this platform, because it is part of life as we know it today. So anything that they do, it's with me, under my supervision. And they will have social media when I think that they can handle it. My 10-year-old probably won't have it for a while. My 8-year-old is more independent, more responsible. So, it depends on the kid as well as what the parents allow in their house.
Yeah, a mother knows best. Amanda, I had a friend tell me you don't want to be the first to allow your child on social media, but you don't want to be the last. What advice do you have? You say you're going to wait till they're 17. What happens when they're 15 and all their friends are on it?
I think we'll have to take it day by day or year by year, or see where we're at that point. But I also think that the social media platforms need to make some changes and put in some controls that help parents better monitor their children's access and spend less time targeting our kids, because what's the saying? When the service is free, you are the product, and our children are the product of these social media platforms. And I don't want to sell my children out. So it is my responsibility as a parent to make sure that my children are not shielded and they're ready to face the world. But that's something that we're going to do together.
Yeah, I know. And Carolina, the scary part is not every parent is going to be like you. Some parents are lackadaisical, they're busy, they're working, right, 2 or 3 jobs, so they don't have the opportunity to see what their kids are putting up. But you might be the parent that does care or cares a little bit more, and then your kids, though, are still going to see this. What do we do about it?
So I feel like if I cannot monitor it, if I cannot be the supervisor of what they're doing on social media, they probably won't have it until I feel that they can handle it. Like it's 100% a very scary place, especially for naive minds, young and adults.
Yep.
But yeah, 100% my responsibility to make sure that they can handle what's on there. And if they can't, then they're not going to be on there.
Right. Nicole, you know what's scary is if we have a question about parenting, we usually can call our moms and say, how did you handle it? Or we lead by example. What did our parents do? How did they handle these situations? We don't have that here because we didn't grow up with social media.
Right. It is a brave new world. And what is frightening to me is the role that our schools are playing in pushing this ideology in these programs. We conducted an investigation recently that found that school districts across the country are actually assigning TikTok as homework, which means that students have to then download the platform. And once they're on, as my colleague said, it's an addictive drug. And so people want to stay on that. We're also seeing districts that are promoting something called Trevor Space, which is a chat platform through the Trevor Group or the Trevor Project that encourages children between the ages of 13 up to 24 to speak without adult supervision. Those are frightening, and schools should not be pushing this either.
I did talk to some moms that have older children. They said, stay close with the moms in your daughter's friend group, because then you can all come up with a collective decision on when to make this available. Thankfully, we all have a few more years till we have to deal with this, but there are a lot of parents that don't. Thank y'all so much, ladies. God bless your children. Thank you.
Thank you so much.